Alright guys, we have our Scion XB Generation 1 with the C50 transmission, something like that, about the same as an Echo. Here we got our new transmission here. We're going to get ready to put this one in. That one went out recently, so we're going to start the process on putting the new one in. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing in order to get to that transmission is we want to remove the bumper, the grill, the battery, the air box, and basically everything in the front end here. That way we can get to that transmission and start unbolting it. Alright, next thing we want to make way to get into the transmission here. So we're going to break loose all these tires and all the lug nuts, and then we're going to proceed to take them off after we jack it up. You got the tire off. What we're going to do is we're going to pull off this caliper here, and then next the strut bolts, and then the axle nut. Alright, yeah, we're removing the starter here. So we want to be able to remove the starter, and then we can jump to the clutch cable here.
Hey, just
or the shifter cable.
Jack up on this?
Alright, so now we're going to drain the transmission fluid, which is that bolt right there. And after we get that drained, we can start proceeding pulling the rest of the bolts off. Alright, here we got some shifter linkages here. There's this pin right here, or this clip. You pull that out, as well as the same thing for this one here. And then you got the pins right here, the retaining clips, or whatever you call them. You pull those out and those out, and after that, you have it disconnected. So. We got the wheels, or the CV axles pulled out and stuff. We got that area done. We're going to start working on pulling the bolts out of the bell housing. There's a lot of bolts all around this transmission attaching it, so you just kind of got to make sure you get every single one, but we'll kind of give you a gist of where they're at, but mostly you'll just have to look. But as you can see, one of them's up right there. Got another one that's supposed to be right there. and we're just going to proceed to start removing those, and then we can proceed to pull the transmission out that way. So, alright, there's some other bolts here. As you get closer, after you get all those bell housing bolts out, there's this bracket down here that we pull these retaining clips off. There's a couple bolts under here on this bracket, and you need to proceed to remove those. So, and we're just going to work on taking off some of the engine mounts here too. Like this mount, we're going to have to remove this mount too, because that's connected to the transmission, just so we're able to pull it out. So. Alright, here we are, we're under the car by the transmission, and these are where the bell housing bolts are to be removed in the back. We got those removed, and you look here, sort of see the axle goes in. There's actually an engine mount, or not an engine mount, but there's a transmission mount right here, and there's bolts up in there. As you can see, there's one right there, and there's one a little bit higher. Extremely difficult to get to. You're going to need a 14mm open end. But they're possible to get out. So along with those ones, we got the other mount up there that we need to remove. So we just got to proceed to removing those, and make sure you have the transmission completely supported before you completely remove it, otherwise it could fall, you know. So, alright. We got those bolts undone down there on those mounts, and there actually was an extra bolt right down here where this wheel thing is. Right down where this wheel is, there's a bolt back right there we had to remove. And now we got this disconnected, and we're starting to pry it and seeing if we can push it out. So we do have the engine and transmission supported. As you can see, we got the transmission out here. It's pretty simple. We just pried on each side evenly and popped it right out. Pretty simple. Now we just get ready to put the new one back in. Alright, here we have the old transmission. We can see the damage right there. Something obviously went pretty wrong in there, and it just busted right out the side. So next we're just going to proceed to take these linkages mounts off and put on the next one. Alright, so we got this pulled out. That's the end of pulling it out, and then on our next video here we're going to proceed to show you how to put a new transmission in. Thanks for watching.